Here's something that I already know about you as a nonprofit leader that you may not even be aware of, or it may not be top of mind. First and foremost, your mission matters. And I know that you have days, weeks, months, years that go by wondering whether or not you're going to be able to continue doing what you're doing, or what will you have to sacrifice to make things better. And this is a common headspace that nonprofit leaders get into. The mission that you have is big, but the funding is not there. It's not big enough. It's not matching what it is that you're doing. And you try year after year to make that work. And this gap in funding creates pressure, it creates anxiety, it creates uncertainty. Today, I want to talk to you about why that happens. And more importantly, how to start thinking about it differently. That is our focus on this episode. Let's huddle up. Hey, welcome to another episode of Huddle Up with Mark, the Fund Coach. I'm Mark Duncan. Always great to be with you and to talk about the challenges that I know that you're facing, partly because I've lived them. I don't often mention this in these episodes, but I have been in the nonprofit space for a very, very long time, since 1987. And I run the gamut of the kinds of organizations that I've worked for and the jobs that I've done. I've been on the direct care side, working directly with the people being served. Then I became a program director overseeing the people who served those folks. Then I became an executive director and then moved into fundraising full time, taking the lead at larger organizations to raise the dollars that need to be raised in order for those missions to succeed. And I've experienced every possible doubt, thought, concern, anxiety that you could possibly imagine. And so, what I want to talk about today is how you can think about these things differently. Now, there's a lot of assumptions that a lot of nonprofit leaders like yourself probably carry, even if you don't say it out loud. For example, you may say, in our work, or if our work is meaningful enough, the funding will come, right? Expecting a miracle or expecting giving to just happen. But in reality, that is not the way it plays out. You may see nonprofit organizations having great success when it comes to fundraising. And that could be for a variety of reasons. But I guarantee you, if you take a look under the hood of those organizations, they're not operating on hope. They're not operating on the fact that we're just going to put this out there. We're going to put out the information and people will give. It does not work that way. I have said in previous episodes that big gifts do not fall out of the sky. Fundraising has to be intentional, and you must step into this boldly, talking about your mission, not only in emails, not only on social media, not only in letters that you send, not only in speaking to large groups, but it's about connecting with people that you know have capacity and building trusting relationships with them. That is what giving is based on. It's based on a connection, whether or not that connection is emotionally driven or cerebrally driven, meaning that If donors who are more cerebral connect to who you are and what you do because they see something of value to invest in. They see that you're being a good fiscal manager, a good fiscal steward of your mission. They'll ask you questions about your operating budget. They'll ask you questions about perhaps what it costs to serve the people that you serve, person by person. What does that average cost? Do you know that number? And then, of course, there are those who will give because they love to hear the stories directly from the people that you serve. And as much as you may put testimonials in your letters or on social media or on your website, those don't always drive giving, especially big gifts. So you must be intentional. You must be. A powerful mission is only going to be known if you tell the story. See, powerful missions that may not tell their story to the right people, they may get funded, and you may get funded very sporadically. You may have a large bequest that comes to your organization. Somebody that you never knew left your organization in their will. And it's a $50,000 or $100,000 commitment. And you're very excited, you're very grateful. And it may be what allows you to survive the rest of that fiscal year. But that's not a strategy. In fact, anytime you receive a planned gift that is unexpected, don't spend it. Let me repeat that. If you ever get a gift from a bequest, someone passes away, they leave your organization in their estate, and it's significant, and as tempting as it is, don't spend it. Maybe spend some of it, but not all of it. Maybe take a little piece of it because you weren't planning on it. It wasn't something that was going to come that year anyway. So put it aside. Use it to establish an endowment if you don't have one. And if you have one, put it there. And in fact, you should make a policy that anytime you receive a planned gift, a gift that comes to you as a result of somebody who passes away and leaves a piece of their estate to you, then make it a policy to have that money go into your endowment. It's wonderful when you get dollars that you don't expect, not the reason you got them, obviously, but the fact that someone thought highly enough of your organization that you made an impact on their lives or on the lives of somebody that they love, that they thought well enough of you to put you in their estate. The real challenge to you here is you should know that. You should know who those people are. Again, this comes from that connection that you have to make and sustain when you are engaged in fundraising. So, why do big missions stay stuck with small giving? Right? You're probably getting some transactional gifts that are coming in. Perhaps they're coming in as a result of an e-solicitation or direct mail, or you engaged in a 24-hour giving campaign or Giving Tuesday, whatever that may be, and you got some small gifts and you didn't get what you hoped to get. And it's probably because the culture of philanthropy in your organization isn't there. It isn't prominent. And that's an inside out job. You have to create that culture of philanthropy, starting with your leadership. That's you as the executive director, leadership staff, and your board. That's where it begins. Having 100% participation in giving from your board, helping your staff understand the importance of fundraising and the role that they play, even if they don't ask for the dollars. But why does this happen? Well, so many nonprofit leaders who are running meaningful missions really struggle to attract major gifts. And it's because either they aren't sure of what to do or they have an expectation that isn't realistic about how to get those major gifts. But here are a few reasons why this is happening. Now, for most leaders, many of you, and this is very, very common if you are working at a nonprofit that is not higher education and that is not healthcare. Many nonprofit leaders who step into this space just aren't trained. They aren't trained in fundraising. And so there are misperceptions, miscalculations, expectations that you have that aren't met and that are not realistic because you think or you've overheard, or maybe you went to a couple of workshops and you gleaned some things that may not have been complete. So you step into this leadership role, obviously, because you care about the impact that your organization is making, but you're not quite sure what to do. And you step into the space not because you want to raise dollars, but because you need to master these conversations about your mission first. The dollars will come after that, and they don't just automatically come. They have to come because of you and being strategic and thinking about what it is that you need to accomplish and making that clear to those people who have capacity. And so instead of leaning into that, many will avoid it or delay it or overthink it. So much so that that causes inaction. I couldn't tell you how many people I have worked with over the years who pause or don't take action because they don't feel that it's right yet. And they have questions and they want to do a deeper dive or they want to understand the capacity of this person. Or if they're engaged in or they're using wealth screening, perhaps they don't trust what they're seeing. And so they hesitate. This can't be right. This person, there's no way this person has this much money. Or there's no way this person isn't higher in terms of their capacity. And so we stop, that we allow that to pause us from doing anything. And what I say to you is if you're engaged in wealth screening, which is absolutely something you need to be doing, it is just a tool. It's a part of the toolbox. It isn't the be all and end all of how you're going to secure these major gifts. What it's informing you to do is who do you need to be spending time with? So if you find somebody that has a net worth of $5 million dollars and another person who has a net worth of $10 million dollars, and you're hesitant because you're not 100% confident in that number, you do nothing. And I guarantee you, If you do nothing, nothing is going to happen. They aren't just going to appear and give you unsolicited large gifts. Now, if you are getting unsolicited large gifts, those gifts that you're getting are not enough. And what I mean by that is there's more there. Somebody's giving you $5,000 based on an email, based on a letter, without the benefit of a relationship with you. There's so much more there. Imagine. But I know that's not the common case. I know that that isn't the norm. The norm, unfortunately, is a lot of hand wringing, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of lack of confidence in your mission and perhaps in yourself as a leader, or who would give to us? Who's going to give us $10,000? Who's going to give us $20,000? Sometimes it's so unimaginable that it stops us from taking a single step forward into what could very well be what you need to do to turn the tide. But I encourage you to understand that you must have a plan, and that plan has to involve connecting with people who have capacity, building a relationship with them, making the case, making the ask, and closing the deal, and doing so in a way that is intentional and is also aligned with you as a leader and with that donor's interest in what you do. If you do that right and you do that consistently, you will see your fundraising grow. This isn't a magical thing. This is about structure. This is about strategy. This is about being intentional and taking action, not overthinking it, but moving forward. You are not perfect, and that is okay. And your stepping into building a relationship with someone isn't going to be perfect. None of us are perfect, and neither are your donors. But what they will appreciate is you taking time to connect with them, meet with them, talk to them about your mission, and you listening to them and hearing what's important to them about what you do. So when we stay in this transactional fundraising space where we're only soliciting through email and direct mail and online, social media platforms, all of those things, and you stay in that transactional space, what you're doing is you're creating an image of your organization without even realizing it. But that image can sound and feel like, I need money. Let me present the need. I hope they respond. These things don't secure 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, 50, $100,000 gifts that your organization can receive from individuals on an annual basis. And I guarantee you, if your organization is 15 years old or more, maybe even 10 years old or more, there are probably people in your database right under your nose who have the capacity to give in a significant way and aren't doing so because you haven't taken the time to step into that space of building that relationship with them. So the shift here is about leaning into relationships, not requests, not solicitations, not asks, but relationships. Yes, continue to do the transactional fundraising that you're engaged in, because those people who are giving in a small way, many of those people have capacity to do so much more, and they'll do it if you take the time to build those relationships. So understand that when you step into your office every day and you're concerned and you're anxious and you're wondering how you're going to be able to do what is expected of you, give yourself a break. Give yourself some grace and know that you can get and acquire the tools and everything that you need to be successful. You just have to take that step. I hope this has been helpful to you. And as always, this fundraising thing, it is not about the dollars. It's about what the dollars do for the people that you serve. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you next time.